Jose, we're about a third of the way through the NBA season. A lot of names are being floated around. It's trade bait. Who do you see moving in the not-too-distant future?
You know, one person who I really think is under the radar right now would be David Lee of the Boston Celtics. He has a $15 million expiring contract. Boston already has a lot of bigs. They have Kelly Olynyk there, the Canadian, Amir Johnson, the former Raptor. They have Zeller, and they also have Jared Sullinger as well. So there's a lot of depth there in the front court. And you know, David Lee, he's not really getting too many minutes. He's getting around 15 minutes per game, and he can still play. He can still play in the league though. And you know, I think that teams that maybe are moving for the future may want someone like that with an expiring contract who can still maybe provide a bit of leadership as well.
Okay, when we look at the names that are being tossed around, who's staying put, right? A lot of names sort of say, well, Dwight Howard's going here, he's going there. Then he comes out and sort of says, well, I'm happy here. We're trying to make it work. What rumors are just full of bunk?
You know, you mentioned it right there, Dwight Howard. I think that Hassan Whiteside and Dwight Howard, I don't think that trade's going to happen. If I'm the Miami Heat, I don't want to trade Hassan Whiteside. This guy is already a top, I would say maybe top 3 or 5 center in the NBA. And he's only really realistically had maybe a year or two under his belt because he was in the D-League. He had a sporadic playing time last year, and now this is really his full season. He's averaging around 4 blocks, the most I think since Marcus Camby did in the early 2000s. If I'm the Miami Heat, I'm not trading for a decline in Dwight Howard. And I think ultimately Dwight Howard's going to stay just because, you know, that team is starting to really turn around a bit after the Kevin McHale firing. They're above 500, playing some of their better basketball. I think Dwight Howard stays and he doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, speaking of Kevin McHale being fired, there's some other coaches on the hot seat in Chicago. We've got trouble there with the players speaking out. What do you make of the situation with the Bulls?
You know, I think it's a tough situation to be in just because Fred Hoiberg, he's a first-year coach. Jimmy Butler's obviously an established starter there. He's been there for a while. I think Pau Gasol said it best when he said it could have been handled internally. I have nothing wrong with what Jimmy Butler said of him wanting them to be coached harder, Fred Hoiberg maybe being more of a presence because Tom Thibodeau was such a strong voice for that team. But maybe he could have went about it in a different manner. I think Fred Hoiberg, they have to keep him ultimately because they just signed him to that long, big contract. They'll work it out there, but they will not contend with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the end.
Okay. Thanks, Jose.
Thank you.